Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, first of all, thank you very much for all of you guys who has come to this Zoom meeting for our presentation for Group 4A and Group 4B. I apologize for the inconvenience earlier because I was having a problem with my laptop. So the first presentation will be delivered by Group 4A, which consists of two people, which is me and Khayara. And the first half of the presentation will be delivered by Yara, and the second half would be presented by me. And for Yara, time is yours.
Next. Next. Okay. So the history background of the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence was created during growing conflict between the 13 colonies and Britain. The colonies were taxed unfairly and had no representation, and it leads to their anger and protests like the Boston Tea Party. When the American Revolution began in 1775, more colonies, guided by Enlightenment ideas, believed independence was necessary. In 1776, Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration and it was adopted on July 4 and it became officially separating the colonies from British rule. So next slide, Nada.
Okay.
Okay, so now the structure of declaration. The Declaration of Independence has four main parts. The preamble, which is the beginning, it explains about the why this document is written. In the second one, the statement of natural rights such as life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness that people have and says government must protect them. The third one, the list of grievances, it presents the colony's complaints against King George III. And in the final part, they have the resolutions. It presents the colonies are now free and independent from Britain. Next. Okay, so the significant in American culture. The Declaration of Independence is important because it expresses America's main values such as equality, liberty, and the natural rights. It shaped how it shaped how American thinks about individual freedom and share and helped to create a shared national identity. These ideas became the base of United States political principle, especially that government must protect people's right and get its power from the people. Over time, it also inspired many movements for justice and equality. So that's all from me. The next material will be presented by Nada.
Okay, thank you very much for the explanation, Yara. And then let's moving on to the impact and legacy. So the Declaration of Independence had a major impact, both in the United States and also internationally. So within the U.S., the idea of natural rights and equality inspired the revolutions in France and in Latin America, and also it influenced the creation of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and also it formed the foundation of American governance. So globally, it became a symbol of freedom, showing that colonies or oppressed people can also demand of independence. And its principles of liberty, equality, and government by consent continue to shape the political thought today. Then next to the modern relevance. So the Declaration of Independence remain highly relevant today. Its principles of freedom and equality are cited in civil rights movements, gender equality campaigns, and debates about human rights. And it encourages reflection of how far the society has come in achieving its ideals and also what challenges remains. And also for the Independence Day, which is celebrated in every July 4th, reinforces its ongoing significance as a symbol of liberty and national pride. And the document continues to inspire Americans to uphold the value it enshrines. And then, last but not least, we have come to the conclusion. So, the Declaration of Independence is one of the most important documents in American history. It laid out the nation's core values in liberty, equality, natural rights, influencing the U.S. Constitution, political principles, and national identity. Its impact extended beyond the United States, inspiring independence movements worldwide. And today, it continues to be a symbol of freedom, reminding Americans and people around the world the importance of human rights, democracy, and justice. Okay, so by the end of my explanation, that's also the end of our presentation for Group 4A. Moving on, let's hear the presentation from Group 4B. Wait. Okay, so Group 4B, the time is yours.
Okay, the first part will be explained by Dina. Dina, time is yours.
Next slide, please. So the first material is background. The Declaration of Independence was adopted on July 4, 1776 in Philadelphia. Basically, the 13 colonies decided to break away from the Great Britain because they were tired to unfair taxes, having their freedoms limited, and dealing with the King George III abuse of power. This is the moment when the United States officially started as its own country. Next slide, please. Next, author. So the main author of the Declaration was Thomas Jefferson. He didn't write it alone. He worked together with community that include John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Roger Sherman, and Robert Livingston. They put the document together during the American Revolutionary War in 1775 until 1783, while the colonies were fighting for the independence. Next. Core principle. So the Declaration states that all people are created equal and have unalienable natural rights, including life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. The purpose of government is to protect this right, and its power comes from the consent of people. The next topic will be presented by Wilda.
Okay, so in this slide, we can see one of the most powerful ideas in the Declaration of Independence. It said that if a government fails to protect people's rights or becomes abusive, the people have the right to change or even abolish it. This means that the power of government actually comes from the people, not from a king or ruler. The writers believe that every government must protect the natural right of its citizens, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If it does not, then the people have the right to build a new one that will serve them better. This idea came from the philosopher John Locke and later became one of the foundation of modern democracy. Next, please. Okay, next is list more than 25 complaints against King George III. For example, he taxed the colonies without their consent, limited their right to govern themselves, restrict their trade, had no choice but to declare independence. To declare independence. The section was written to prove the word that their decision was fair and reasonable. Next, please. Next is formal declaration. The slides show the final and most important part of the document, the official Declaration of Independence. Here, the colonies clearly state that they are now free and independent states. They no longer belong to Great Britain as new nation. They have the right to make laws, from alliances, trade with other countries, and defend themselves. The people who signed the Declaration, including Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and Benjamin Franklin, knew that this was a dangerous act. Declaring independence from the British Empire was considered treason, and they could be executed for it. But they were brave enough to take that risk because they truly believed in freedom and equality. Next, please. This slides explain why it's significant in the legacy. For American, it marks the birth of their country and became the foundation of their democracy. It's inspired later documents like the U.S. Constitution and the Bills of Rights around the world. It's encouraged many other nations to fight for their own independence and human rights. Even today, the Declaration remains a symbol of freedom, equality, and justice for all people. Every year, Americans celebrate July 4th as Independence Day to honor this historic event. The original document is kept in Washington, D.C. as a reminder of the nation's enduring values. Next, please. Okay, last, in conclusion, the Declaration of Independence is not just an old piece of paper. It is a message of hope and courage, a reminder that every person has the right to live freely, equally, and with dignity. Okay, that's all for Group 4B, and I give it back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you very much for the group. So by the end of the presentation of Group 4B, that's also the end of our session for today. Thank you very much, guys, for attending this Zoom, and also thank you very much for the attention. I will wrap this up. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.